What a match for Chelsea. 3-1 over Wolves, and this game just oozed excellence from multiple players. We do need to talk about the tactics that Liam Rosenior used in this match because he has been absolutely brilliant since coming to Chelsea. Chef's kiss because he is undefeated currently in the Premier League. Now, looking at the tactics, there were some big changes that he did in this game that made absolute total sense, but probably looking at the beginning didn't make sense. The first one being Enzo Fernandez playing as our left winger in this match. Granted, we had Garnacho, we had Gittins, we had all these other players that could have been out on the left wing. Instead, we went with Enzo Fernandez, and this made absolute sense. We will talk about in a little bit why this was so important. On top of that, we saw Santos and Caicedo play in that midfield. These two guys, I do think, will continue to be pairing with each other for the rest of the season. If they both stay fully fit, both these guys should be playing in this position. Yes, I know we saw Reece James play in this position multiple times when he was fully fit. He hasn't been fit, wasn't even on the bench today, but like I said, both these guys pair so well together, and it's just such a nice thing to see what they both can do going forward and actually defending wise. Then we saw Malagusta on the right side. Like I said, Reece James was out, Neto on that right side, and Cole Palmer getting another start, which obviously was a big player in this match, and then João Pedro up top. Now, yes, I do understand that João Pedro did not score a goal into this match, but he obviously led to both the penalties that were in this game. We saw the one where he was going away towards goal, just an absolutely idiotic tackle by Wolves, and yes, it led to Cole Palmer having a free or a set piece, a PK, and like I said, he just drilled it, which he always does. If there's ever a guy you ever need to take a penalty, it's Cole Palmer. This guy does not miss. I think he's missed, one in his entire career since being at Chelsea, and on top of that, João Pedro then got fouled on the other side of the box, and yes, Cole Palmer smashed that one in two, which gave us a 2-0 lead. Now, at that point, Chelsea were in the driver's seat, but that all being said, there are multiple factors in how this happened. One of the big things that we need to talk about is the pairing we mentioned before, and that is Santos and Caicedo. What these two guys bring to the table, because like I said earlier, both guys can go forward if they want to, they both can drop back if they need to, and they can cover almost any space in that midfield. If you look at the heat maps, it's ridiculous what both these guys can do. But on top of that, what we actually also saw with Liam Rosenior and his tactics, and this is not uncommon to see, is that both CB split, Cucurella pushed up, Gusto pushed up, Caicedo dropped back, and even Santos dropped back a little bit. We are almost seeing a 2-2 formation, but these guys were always very close with each other. So every time we played a ball, they were able to do a 1-2 quick touch passing. Now, whether again it was Cole Palmer who dropped back to also help them, they would also then shift and then play these through balls to João Pedro. And it wasn't just on one side, it was on both sides. And even Enzo Fernandez was able to drop into this area. These very short passes is what's made a massive difference for Chelsea, because like I just showed you before, these short passes open up channels for us to find players like Neto, like João Pedro, even Cucurella, who could then drive on that left side. All these little short passes keep linking up and breaking down defenses, and these guys can all constantly keep moving up the pitch together. So because of this, defenders don't know exactly what to do, because if they try to take the ball off one guy, he can lay off to another guy, run into space, create some more pockets of space, and then play another ball off to Neto, who then can dribble the ball into the attacking third. And like I said, this makes it very difficult. Now, yes, you could argue that it is Wolves. They have been struggling this match the entire season, but that being said, you still have to give credit to where credit is due, and that is where it's very important. On top of that, what we did see sometimes too, if we drop these players back, was that Enzo Fernandez actually did drop back as well, and then we actually see almost a 2-3. Cole Palmer push up, Malagusta push up, and even Neto was like this. This gave us massive depth in this game, because when these guys are pushing out, what we could see here again, Caicedo could ping the ball out if he wanted to, these guys could push up a little bit, and like I said, with all this extra space, Wolves didn't really know where to defend, because if they tried going to different pockets of space, we constantly found different players, and then we'd overload areas with players with certain passes, and because of that, it just made it very difficult for Wolves to really get in this match. Now, granted, that being said, the second half, yes, they did find the back of that at least once. They could possibly have scored one more goal, but overall, the defense was actually pretty good this game. The talking point, though, is set pieces. Once again, Chelsea seemed to be struggling on set pieces. Yes, we let in a goal off a corner kick. And I think this is the biggest talking point that Liam Rosenior still needs to figure out with the squad, because every time there is a set piece, I do worry for Chelsea. And it's not that we don't have players that can't win these aerial threats, but it just seems like anytime the ball is played short, a ball is played across over the top after that short cross, we just don't know what to defend after that second and third chance. And that is what happened in this match. Wolves took advantage of it and found the back of the net. And yes, we were up 3-0 at that point, but still, the defense looked a little shaky for the next 10 minutes after that game. Overall, though, this was a great game, great confidence booster for Chelsea. Yes, they are in 5th position right now behind Manchester United, but still, this win itself is another testament to what Liam Rosenior can do as a manager, and he keeps making these players play so much better. And these tactics, like I said, is very difficult for teams to actually defend against. And if we keep doing what we have been doing, we're going to keep finding the back of the net, creating more chances, and this is what Chelsea have been lacking earlier in the season. Even last season, we just couldn't have too many chances inside the box. But now with João Pedro, what he can do, how he can turn with the ball, Neto, Cucurella, Cole Palmer, all these guys playing in these positions and finding pockets of space and finding areas to actually take shots and find the back of the net. This is what makes Chelsea that good. And because we have been scoring, our defense then doesn't have as much pressure on them. Yes, they still have pressure, but because we are taking the lead and scoring goals, they can be a little bit shaky at times, but it doesn't matter because we are still scoring goals. So overall, 3 points. It was a big game for Chelsea. We go on, play later this week, but like I said, Liam Rosenior is getting the best of these players. I do think we go on to win our next match, and I think we keep this streak going on in the Premier League, and hopefully we can go the rest of the season, but obviously that is a big ask. But overall, this was a game that Chelsea dominated, and we saw it from the beginning to the end. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe down below, and I will see you in the next video.